Hey guys, it's Sam. So today I'm going to talk about, I wanted to share with you guys my experience meeting GOT7 and going to their concert when they came here for their Fly in the USA tour. So getting the tickets was like a complete shit show and like it was just hell on earth, so I'm going to skip through that. But basically I got a P3 ticket, meaning the P1s had a group photo and they were let in first, and then P2 were high touch and they got let in after that, and then P3 was the next GA. The first 100 people got a poster, but I didn't, so whatever. But yeah, so I just been seeing like all over Twitter that like when they got here, when they got to Dallas, that they like people met them at the airport, including people that I follow and know, and I was like, I gotta do that, I gotta do that, I gotta do it, I gotta try it, because I've done it for other bands, not the airport, but the hotel. So July 4th came around, and the concert was the next day, and I was like, okay, what do I do? So my friend and I kind of went all like detective, and we're looking up flights, and I knew that they were coming from Chicago, and that LaGuardia was the airport that does a lot of domestic flights, and that it does United flights, which is the airline they were flying, and I figured everything out. And thankfully the airport was only 30 minutes from my dad's house where I was staying, instead of being all the way from my mom's house in the other side of Queens, which is kind of far. So my dad drove me. I begged him, I like got on my hands and knees and I was like, Dad, I know this is weird, but can you please take me to the airport to try to meet GOT7, the band I'm seeing tomorrow? And he was like, okay, it's only 30 minutes from here. And I was like, okay. So I showed up at about 1:30 and their flight didn't get in till 4. I think it came in early, so it was like a quarter to 4. But I started talking to the girls there, and they were all really nice, and I met a whole bunch of new friends. But so then the time was coming, and we were waiting for them to come. We knew their flight had gotten in, and we were like, okay, what the hell do we do? My heart's pounding just thinking about it. So we're standing there, and we didn't see anybody's fan sites, and we were like, are we in the wrong place? And so we went down, we were upstairs by the departures, because sometimes arrivals at LaGuardia come through the upstairs and they don't have anything to grab from downstairs in the baggage claim, and since they don't take care of their own bags, obviously, we thought there was a chance that they would come up there, but a security guard was like, they're gonna come in downstairs. So we were like, okay. So we ran down the stairs and we saw a Jackson fan site, and we were like, this is it. So they came, they walked, we saw them coming down the stairs. Meanwhile, my heart's beating out of my chest and I'm ready to throw up, because I'm like, oh my god, this is GOT7, oh my god. So they come down the stairs. Bam Bam and Jackson and Yugam are kind of like leading the way, and they walk by, and I'm saying hi and all that kind of stuff, and Jackson looks me in the eyes, and I'm like, oh my god, what just happened? Meanwhile, they're all still moving, everybody's pushing, and I didn't even see Jin Young. Like, he was out of there at like the speed of light, like ran past everybody, first person in the car. So I have no idea what happened with him. But then I saw Mark, and I was like, oh my god, because those of you who don't know, like GOT7's my alt group and Mark's my alt bias, like my alt bias, like my sunshine. I love him so much. So I was like, oh my god, Mark, oh my god, Mark. So I said hi to him. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna walk next to him, because that's what some girls did at the airport with their bias in Dallas. So I'm walking behind Mark, and all these girls are going, Mark, and I'm like, no, love me. So we're walking out of the doors that lead out to the main street, and they're gonna walk to their car. So everyone's like all over everyone. It's like, it's not a mob situation, but it's like there's one door, this one small door, other than the rotating door, which would be a mess. So it's the one small actual door and all these people. So we're all kind of getting like pushed and like moved around to this door, and some girl tried to push me in front of Mark, and I was like, oh my god, I'm sorry. And we get pushed out the door, and now it's just me and Mark and like another girl. We're like and like the girls behind us, we're walking like in this open like space. So I'm like, okay, this is my chance. So everyone's going hi, and I went, hi Mark, and he looked right at me.
Hi Mark. Welcome
and I swear to God, like my soul left my body. Like I was barely functional at that point. So then I started mumbling, and I'm like, I can't believe. So I was like, I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Like it was awful. I was trying to say I can't wait for the concert tomorrow, and I was trying to say see you tomorrow. I'm like dying right now, and it just came out in a jumble of words, and it was a mess. So now we're getting back to this mob of girls that was with the people up in front, and it's getting awful. Like their staff is yelling, their managers are yelling at us like, get out of the way, and I'm like, there's nowhere to go, sir, I don't know what you want from me. So they all get into the car, and they're all being so funny because the way they were situated, like in the front, like in the seat that was closest to us, like in the main like opening doors of the van, it was Jackson and you going closer to the window, like farthest from us, and then Mark, and then Bam Bam closest to the door. So Jackson's like waving his Beats pill in the air, and I'm like, we can't hear what you're playing. Like, what's the purpose of this? And Bam Bam's just kind of like waving at all of us, and then everyone's doing the heart, like they're going like this. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it to Mark. I'm gonna see if he sees it. So I'm going, Mark! And I kid you not, he reached over Bam Bam. Like he had his arm around him, he reached over him and went right back to me. So this was like the second time that he's like acknowledged my existence. I was not alive. Like I was actually like crying. So we're still waiting for JB and Young Jay to come out. I didn't know that. And so while we're like waving and like making all this noise at the other members, all of a sudden I turn around and JB's right there, and I'm like, oh my God.
Hi, JB!
And then Young Jay came up, and he was a little tired because he had been sick. I missed the Chicago show, so he was still kind of recovering probably, so he was a little on the quiet side. But then they get into the van, and finally the doors closed. Bam Bam waved to me and my friend, we started screaming. So then all of a sudden, like we're all getting ready, we're all getting our stuff together to like pick up and decide what we're gonna do next, until everyone runs to the car. And I'm like, what's happening? Because I saw the one girl that I met and I got close with, Kira, she was waving like frantically in front of the window, and I'm like, what happened? She was like fine 2 seconds ago. I run up, and Bam Bam's taking a video of us with his phone, like he has his phone up. So I start going, ah, oh my God. So that was right when they pulled away, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm on Bam Bam's cell phone, like I'm on a video on Bam Bam's phone. What? So that's when I started screaming more. And it took him a while, but we're in the his like end of tour compilation video of like everything from the US tour. So after that, we like gathered our things, and we were like, okay, what are they gonna do? Where should we go back to the city? And I wasn't really planning on going back to the city. I was kind of planning on just like doing my thing and then leaving. But you know, once you get that bug of like, okay, I saw them, they're here in person, why not try to meet them again? Sure, let's go somewhere else. So they suggested that we go to the city and just like regroup, because they're gonna go rest before going back out. And I was like, okay, that's true. So we all piled on the bus, which took us to the subway, which took us to Manhattan, and we went to K-Town in the city. It's this area of Manhattan that just has a lot of like Korean restaurants, Korean stores, things like that. That's where the K-pop album store is. So we went to the album store, we looked around, and then we went to this cafe, and we were just rewatching our videos, fangirling, crying, talking about getting to know each other, and charging our phones. So 7:30 comes around, and we're like, okay, so they're probably going back out by now. Why don't we assess the situation? So we head back out, and we're trying to figure out where to go. I suggested that we go to Times Square, because when a lot of groups come to New York for the first time, that's one of their first stops is Times Square, and also they're playing in Times Square the next day at the PlayStation Theater, and it's July 4th and all that kind of stuff. So I was like, okay, let's go there. We get to Times Square, and it's packed because it's July 4th. And I'm like losing hope at this point. I'm like, I'm just gonna go home. This afternoon was great, but like, you know. So we're on the corner by where H&M is, where Sarah just books it across the street without explanation. She like doesn't say where she's going, she doesn't say why she ran away, and Kira and I are like dumbfounded. We're like, Sarah, where did you go? So the traffic cleared across on the street, and she was on the street corner talking to Mark, Youngjae, and Yugyum. So now Kira and I look at each other and we're like, oh shit, like that's GOT7. So we run across the street and we're standing there. I literally like we ran, kind of speed walked. We ran and like I jumped onto the corner and I went, hi. And I think it startled them a little bit. They were like, hi. So we were standing kind of in a circle. So I was closest to Yugyum. Sarah was kind of in the middle, and Kira was closer to Mark and Youngjae. So let me just say, for the record, that they are all so handsome in person. Like, so much more handsome than pictures. Like, pictures don't do them justice. Like, I know that we all think that they're like the most beautiful people on earth in pictures. Wait till you see them in person, if you ever get the chance to see them in person. Like, they are ridiculously handsome. Ridiculously handsome. Anyways, so Yuhyun was standing there and we were all kind of chit-chatting, and I didn't know what to say because I was so nervous, and you know, with the language barrier, you kind of have to choose your words carefully. So Yuhyun is so tall. He's like at least 6'1", 6'2". So he's looking at me with like this big smile on his face, like, hi, say something to me. And so I look up at him and I'm like, are you guys excited for tomorrow? And Yuhyun hung on every word I said. Like, he was looking at my face, like he was intently watching me, trying to understand what I was saying to him. And he kind of looked at me like, tomorrow? And I'm like, yeah, the concert, you know, the thing that's tomorrow. And he's like, oh, yeah, the concert. And it finally like clicked in his head, and I was like, yes, I did it. And he was like, yeah, the concert, you're coming? And I'm like, yes, I am coming to the concert tomorrow. And he was like, awesome, I'll see you there. And I'm like, okay. So and then we asked Youngjae how he was feeling, and he looked so good. Like I love Youngjae, and like it's hard for me though to see him in like a handsome, sexy way, because he's such a goofball, and like he has that big goofy smile and like and that laugh of his. But he was wearing all black and he hadn't shaven yet, and I was like, oh my god, Youngjae, I'm seeing you in a whole new light. So we asked him how he was feeling, and he said that he was feeling better and that, you know, he was gonna perform tomorrow, the next day. And we were like, okay, good. And Kira was like, drink warm tea. It was really funny. She was like very insistent, and he was like, okay. So now we get to Mark. Now I told myself that I wouldn't like gush about Mark the whole time, because like I want to do all the members justice, but oh my god, guys, like I love him so much. He looked so cute. Like he seems smaller because of his like really quiet demeanor, but he's actually like not that tiny. Like people think he's like a really short person. He's like a couple inches tall. I'm 5'6", so maybe he's like an inch or two taller than me. And he's just so precious. And he was standing there. He had a big bag of candy. I'm guessing they went to a candy store, but he was like looking at us, and he pointed at me and pointed at my friends, and he was like, so you guys are coming tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, we'll be there. And he's like, awesome, like we'll see you there. And I'm like, oh, okay, I love you. I probably told him I love you about like 50 times over the course of that whole day between the airport and Times Square. Like it was a mess. So while I'm being all awkward and stuff, we're talking, other girls noticed that we were talking to them, which was kind of a bummer, but their staff member saw and was like, listen, like we're gonna go into H&M, like we gotta go, you have like 2 minutes. So we shook their hands. Mark reached out and like held out his hand, and I took it and I shook it, and his hand is so soft. Like those of you who have high touch probably know, but like his hand is so soft. And he was like, it was so nice to meet you. And I'm like gonna throw up all over him, but I was like, oh my god, it was so nice to meet you, I love you. And same thing for all of them, like they kind of like batted us, and we said thank you. And then Kira got bold, and she was like, okay, we know like you're technically not allowed to take photos with us, but, and we understand like it's okay if we can't, but can we take photos with you? And they looked at each other and they were like, yeah, okay, we can take pictures. So I'm like, what? So Kira and Sarah got like they took selfies with all three of them, and they were kind of like and then at that point all the other girls had made it across the street, so their staff member was like, all right, now we really gotta go. So I kind of didn't get my group picture with all three of them. As we were walking away, I saw other girls who had walked across the street walking up to Mark and asking him for selfies, and I turned around and I was watching them, and Kira kind of like pushed me forward, and she was like, you're doing this, like you're getting your selfie with Mark, like he's your alt bias, you have to do it. And I was like, okay, you're right. And normally I'm not that bold, like I was just like, okay, I'm gonna do it, you know, like they only come here like once a year maybe. I have to do it now. So I walk up to Mark and I'm like, Mark, can we get a selfie? And he was like, yeah, sure. So we took our selfie, and I did tweet it the night that it happened, but I did find out from other girls that had met them in Texas that Jackson had told them to not post their selfies with them because they could get in trouble. So I deleted the tweet, I deleted the Instagram post that I made. So basically all that happened, and it started to pour rain, and I was like, okay, well, I need to go home because I'm getting up really early to get to the venue so I can have a good spot. And my friends were like, all right, well, we should go home too, it's pouring rain, we've been out all day, like we'll see you tomorrow. So it's kind of a bummer because if we went to the Disney store down the street, we would have met Bam Bam, but I guess there's always the next time, and we did see him at the airport, and we are on his Instagram, so it balances out, I guess. So then fast forward to the next day. I get to the PlayStation Theater at about 8 in the morning. They said that we could only line up starting at 8. That was a lie. There were people there before 8, but most of them had P1 or P2, so I was pretty good in the P3 situation. So I waited online and didn't get up unless they were like moving us, or like we had to move forward or whatever, from 8 in the morning till 6:45 at night, when they finally let us in the door. And I know that sounds crazy, but like, I don't know, I just didn't feel the need to get water, get food, or go to the bathroom or anything like that. I was running on adrenaline, and I had a good time sitting there and talking to people and playing music and just hanging out and stuff like that. After all that waiting, we get let inside, and I got a whole bunch of stuff. I got like fans with Mark's face on them, fans with Jin Young's face on them, banners and stuff. I would show them to you, but they're in my house at home. I'm at school right now. So we get let in, and I was the first P3 person let into the building. I booked it. And so I run down, in the PlayStation Theater, you enter upstairs and you have to go downstairs to get to the venue. So I go down the escalator, running for my life. I get into the venue. I'm all the way in the back of the floor. Now, being in the back of the floor at the PlayStation Theater is not bad. It's a very small floor, but to top it off, GOT7 made the stage really big because they have to dance and they have to perform, and Mark has to do his flips and all that kind of stuff. So it covered about a third of the stage, the floor. So I wasn't that far back to start with. So I figured I'll try to get towards the front, and if it's too much of a hassle, if there's too much pushing, if I'm not comfortable, if I'm not having a good time, I'll move to the back where my friends are standing. Then the lights go out, and I'm like, oh god, it's starting. So the concert started, and people started immediately just pushing forward, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do what I normally do and just find the little holes between people and get through. And long story short, I ended up in the second row. And so I'm probably, I'll probably just go by like each member, like my experience with them. So Yu-Gi-Oh was the one that I probably interacted with the most. When it got like really quiet and they were talking and stuff, like Yu-Gi-Oh, I waved at him and he saw me and he was like, and like waved back. So I guess he remembered me, and I like freaked out. And I was like, ah! And then after that, like he just kept like, he would look over, he would smile, and things like that. I guess he like, it was nice for him to see like a friendly face. And then Mark. So Mark, when I looked back on my videos, because we weren't allowed to record the concert, but I went ahead and recorded almost all the concert. So Mark, when I looked back on my videos, looked at me a lot more than I thought he did. So during Playground, Mark has this one line that he sings. It's like his only singing part in like all their songs. And when I looked back on my video of Playground, he was singing to me. He looked right at me while he was singing and just sang at me. It was really quick. It was like a split second, but like it was enough to like kill me. And then during confession song, he was like kneeling, he was like squatting on the stage, and there was like an opening, so I was like, okay, the back of the fan with Mark's face had his name on it in Korean, so I went, ah, and he was like, and waved right at me, and I was like, what? This isn't happening, this isn't real. Like the last few days haven't been real. JB, at one point, well, the girl I ended up, one of the girls I was online with, I ended up finding in the crowd, so I spent the night with her, but she nudged me during one of the ments, and she was like, Sam, JB is staring at us. And I'm like, what? And she's like, JB is staring at us. So I'm like, okay, because I was looking at, you know, who was in front of me. JB was kind of over there, so I look over, and JB's staring at us, like, hardcore. So I kind of went, hi, and he just went, like, in classic JB, like, chic and sexy type way. The rest of the members, it was more just like eye contact and like things like that. But I did kind of interact with all of them, and the concert was amazing. They are incredible performers. It was just so mind-blowingly amazing, and I got all of my favorite choreos, like the Can't choreography when when they did the thing right in front of me, I almost passed out. Same thing with Stop Stop It, the body rolling. JB gets so into it. And like the ments were so fun and funny, and like they were, and all of them tried to speak English for the most part, and it was just so cute and fun.
Okay? Ain't no Jay-Z here.
And I'm gonna cry because I miss it so much. And when they made each other do the sexy dances.
Brownie is coming. One more time. All right, slow motion.
3, 4.
Go. Hey, hey, don't stop, hey. Fly. Oh God, you got this on tape.
The concert and meeting them was just two of the best days of my entire life, and I hope that, you know, they can come back soon, and that I can see them again, and maybe even make even more amazing memories with them. And yeah, that's my experience for the most part, meeting GOT7 and going to their concert. And I have a whole thread on Twitter detailing all of this stuff in more, you know, because it was on the day of, so it was more in detail. So I'm definitely going to put the link in the description to the thread that I have on Twitter, both of them, my FLYinNYC, the concert thread, and my meeting GOT7 thread. So yeah, that was basically it. If you guys want to know anything like specifically or whatever, just let me know, but that was basically it, and I hope you guys enjoyed. And disclaimer, everything that I said is 110% true. I don't lie, I don't make up things to be more popular or anything like that. Like that, everything that I have just described to you happened. Whether there's video evidence of it or not, it happened. I 110% promise you that everything I just described happened. It was real. And whether you choose to believe me or not, that's up to you, but I can pinky promise you that it is 100% real. And if you ask any of my friends, they can corroborate with you that it was 100% real. It happened. and it was amazing. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video.